First race this Super Sunday at the Curragh is the Gain Railway Stakes. It's a group race for the 2-year-olds and it's run over 1,200 metres. It's a race with an extraordinary roll of honour, so we'll see who'll join it in 2023. Let's have a look at the test that these 2-year-olds are going to have to go through. A few of them have been to the Curragh before. It's the straight 1,200 metres and you can bet your bottom dollar by the business end of the race you'll be finding out which of them can rise above the others right up the straight at the Curragh. These are the runners, headlined by Bucanero Fuerte, who is turning around very quickly from Royal Ascot, not the only horse to do so. Aidan O'Brien runs 3 in a quest for 14 wins in the race, so he hasn't won it in a good few years now. Headlined by Bucanero Fuerte, going down to Unquestionable, who might just be a big player. We'll start with the former, though. Bucanero Fuerte, Graham Cunningham making it a winning debut. Yeah,
this is an interesting horse. I think this was the first 2-year-old race of the season in either Britain or Ireland. It was softish ground. Pick it up in those familiar Ammo Racing colours, Martin. He does this really well. He then had a break, had a little setback, I believe. He came to Royal Ascot and ran really well, but he's the type of horse in the Whirlpool who may be slightly underestimated because he doesn't represent Aidan O'Brien, but no question he's useful.
He certainly is useful. This was his first run, as we're watching here, and he looked very professional. This is a trainer going places, Adrian Murray. His juveniles, they know the job, and he's won with his ears pricked here, and his run at Royal Ascot was a good third in the Coventry.
OK, we'll see what he can go and do. Bucanero Fuerte, Aidan O'Brien has a good record in this race. You can touch a little bit further. It might be a record-equalling win were His Majesty to go and do it.
Yeah, Aidan's got 13 and the great Vincent O'Brien has 14, so he could equalise. His Majesty is one of a couple of really promising horses Aidan settles here, and he's getting better with experience. We could pick him up in a slightly confusing Marble Hill Stakes. A horse doing a solo on the far side is Valiant Force, who went on to win the Norfolk Stakes at 150 to 1. Look right of picture for His Majesty, Martin. I think this horse is getting better with experience. He runs a solid place here. He went on to run a really good 4th in the Norfolk Stakes from stall 16, not the place to be, and it is interesting that Aidan chooses to fire him out quickly.
Absolutely, this is a horse who's really finding his feet. This was 1,200 metres this day, and he's only really getting going when he gets into the last 100 metres or so. You can see him on the rail. It was a surprise to see him drop back to 1,000 metres at Royal Ascot, but he ran with credit, and I think today, stepping back up to the 1,200 metres will really suit him.
OK, how on earth did we let that other horse go off 150 to 1 at Royal Ascot? Benefit of hindsight, eh? Martin, I'll stick with you. Another of Aidan O'Brien's is Unquestionable, who comes into this off a course and distance win. What did you make of last time?
I thought this was a pretty impressive win. He was beaten favourite on debut. He was 3rd behind His Majesty and Valiant Force, who we've seen. But look at this horse. He's galloping out in front in the Al Shikab colours. Look at his ears. His ears are pricked like a horse enjoying life. He's not under pressure. I think he wins this race with quite a bit up his sleeve.
Yeah, I agree that he looks smart. It was a big step forward from his first run. He looked really, really comfortable on the front end, and he's bred to be a good horse. €340,000 son of Wootton Bassett, who's doing really well at the moment. So Aidan O'Brien has a fantastic record in this race. He may well bolster it again. The question is, will it be Unquestionable or His Majesty? It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, but it's straight back to you. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to go with 4, His Majesty on top. I thought he did really well over 5 from a high draw at Royal Ascot. 4, His Majesty, with 1, Bucanero Fuerte, 9, Unquestionable, and 3, Devious, who shouldn't go without a mention because I think he's better than he showed in that Norfolk Stakes.
Yeah, his defeat of Mr. Sato was good on debut. What about you?
I'm going to go with number 4 at the top with His Majesty. I think, again, with Graham, I think he works his way into his races, finishes off strong. The stalls are in the middle at the Curragh, so we'll give him Ryan, I presume, right, and gives him plenty of time to work his way into the race with number 9, 5 and 7 to follow.
Good stuff. Good luck, lads. I'm going to go and take a chance on the 3, Devious. Graham mentioned it to maybe cause a little bit of a ripple in that first race. It's a very good race, and it's the start of a cracking day at the Curragh. Race 2 at the Curragh this Super Sunday, part of a Whirlpool day and a big day that just builds towards the Irish Derby. It's a listed sprint. It's run over 1,200 metres, double-digit field declared for it. I'll confirm a few of them in a few moments' time. Once again, though, they'll be tackling the straight 1,200 metres right in front of the grandstand. couple of them looking to slipstream their way before delivering their winning run. We'll see who that's going to be and get the thoughts of both Graham and Martin. Right, these are the horses, the 11 declared. Anthem National. Castle Star's got cheap pieces on for the first time. British Raider, Comanche Falls, Gustavus Western, Tango Flair, down to the likes of Anosara, Munista, Wadeo and Lady Tilbury at the bottom. OK, let's get the thoughts of Graham Cunningham on one of the potentially key runners, and it's Tango Flair, who bids for yet another win. Yeah,
I think he is a key runner. It's about potential with this horse because he's only had 5 races, but he does seem to be getting better with each run. Couple of wins this season. This is the latest at Fairyhouse. Travel really strongly, willing attitude, Martin. Only won by half a length, but he is an improver, and that's what you look for in this type of race.
He's definitely an improving horse. He's only a 4-year-old, and our sprinters do get better with age, and you see here, good attitude to get up and win, and he beat 2 rivals that are much higher rated than him on this day. Plenty more to come.
Yeah, he's only rated 98 at the moment, but I think he just did enough on this occasion, and I think we can expect a better performance. He needs to keep improving, but he is on the up.
I want to get the thoughts of Martin Dwyer and Anosara. She was a winner in Handicap Company at this meeting last year. This time it's a listed race. I think she bumped into one last time. She's quite talented.
I think she is, and although she's won over 1,000 metres, I think she needs this 1,200 metres at this grade, and I think she's definitely on the upgrade herself. She's an improving filly, and she's got good form. She was closely placed with Art Power, who's a Group 2 winner.
Yep, that was 2 starts ago, and this was behind Go Athletico, who burst onto the Irish scene, Graham.
I thought she ran a solid race here. She didn't really peak to my eye. I think she just replicated previous form, so I think she needs to do better than this in a warm race this weekend, but no question she's a smart filly.
Let's talk about British Raider in the form of Comanche Falls, who doesn't have too many hiding places. What an extraordinary horse, and what a brilliant CV. Dual winner of the Stewards Cup at Glorious Goodwood. What are we going to see on Sunday?
I hope we see him winning. I think generally the British sprint pool is a little deeper than the Irish sprint pool, and on his best figures, Martin, this fella has a right chance. He runs a belter here in the Duke of York Stakes, and have a look at the form. Highfield Princess has franked it, Anarth has franked it, Art Power has franked it. In short, if Comanche Falls replicates this effort, he's going to be right there.
Absolutely, he runs in a listed race. This is the best sprinting form around at the minute. Highfield Princess, she's a multiple Group 1 winner, and the winner on this day, Azori Blue, looks to follow in her footsteps, and this is just about the best sprint form. He's finished 3rd. It's a drop in grade, so he should be winning. Yeah, the winner might just win the July Cup in a couple of weeks' time. We'll see. I think he's going to have a very, very big chance. I want to know your 1, 2, 3, 4.
One for the Brits here, I think. Comanche Falls has the best form in the race. He's also really consistent. So it's 3, 5, 7, 8 for me, with Comanche Falls on top.
Martin.
3, 5, 7, 6. Comanche Falls. He's the best horse in the race by a long way. It's a big drop in grade for him.
It is indeed. And here we go. We're going to have a team steam, a clean sweep for the 3, Comanche Falls, who I hope is going to win at the Curragh on Sunday. Good luck, whatever you're going for. Race 3 is a 1,000 metre sprint. It's the first of the Premier handicaps on the day. It's the Rockingham handicap. Big field, big competitive race, as it should be as well. This is the test that these sprinters are going to have to pass. A fair few of them know this very well indeed. It's the minimum trips, the minimum distance, the straight 1,000 metres of the Curragh. Finishing right in front of the grandstand there. Right, this is half of the declared runners, 2 pages worth. We've got Big Gossy, who we'll be talking about. There's the likes of Laugh a Minute. There's Tawazan, Came from the Dark, who comes across. John Riggins down at the bottom might be a player for the talent that is Ben Cohen. Over the page, Love Day, Screen Siren, Run, Ran, Run, Sheikh Maz Mahood, another British runner. We'll be definitely talking about Harry's Hill. And my moment in time. Let's go back to a significant Curragh race at the end of May, Graham. It was won by Tawazan. It's a race that involves a few.
Yeah, this is a key galloping clue, I think, and it's complicated here. Keep an eye on these 3 horses highlighted, and have a look at Tawazan. He's one of only 2 horses who races on the stand side. I think he probably snagged a tactical advantage. Laugh a Minute comes on strongly, ends up towards the near side. But have a close look, guys, at the horse on the far side, and look how well John Riggins quickens in relation to the bunch on the far side. So these horses are very closely matched at the weights. My idea of this trio is that John Riggins shaped really well, and he might just improve past the other 2. But one way or another, Martin, that looks a significant clue.
These horses, they race against each other so often, sometimes at small margins, and Tawazan did get the run of the race on the stand rail there. It seemed to be a quicker strip.
And when they met the time before, over the 1,000 metres, it was John Riggers that came out on top. I like the angle GC's gone in with there. Let's talk about the very lightly race, Sheikh Maz Mahood, for Declan Carroll, who's won this race before. He was unequivocal when asked earlier this week, is he going? Yep, he's going.
Yeah, I've had my eye on this horse for a while now. He's taking a sharp step up in class here. The horses he beats at Musselburgh are just ordinary midweek handicappers, but he's lightly raced Martin, only had 8 runs. Look at the way he tanks through the race. He's a progressor and he looks ready for this step up in grade.
He looks ready for the step up, but he's going to have to improve on this. I think it wasn't strong form behind him, but as you can see on this VT, he's won so easily. He is a horse on the upgrade, but he's got a lot of potential, but he's still got a little bit to prove at this level.
Drawn 1 as well. That's going to be quite interesting, but I always look for horses who are on an upward curve.
Yes.
And he most definitely is, and he bolts up at Musselburgh. Martin's dead right. This is a very, very much stronger test, but it's interesting that his trainer has won the race before.
Has indeed. It's all about the big P with him there. He's got a lot of potential. One we know a little bit more about, fair bit more about, is Big Gossie, who was second in this particular race last year. Martin, I want to get your thoughts on Big Gossie. He's a real class act, and he's boxed clever at a very good level. Back into a handicap and back into a race, albeit off much higher terms than last year, that he's run well in. Do you fancy him?
Absolutely. He's a really standout horse. He's a 6-year-old. He's improving with age. Probably this run was a career best at this level, Group 2 level. Art Power in front of him is a good, solid horse at group level, and Big Gossie drops back into a handicap off a reasonable weight. I think he's the one they all have to beat.
He ran second in this race last year.
Yep.
He is higher in the weights, 10 pounds higher, but he's a better horse nowadays. As Martin said, Art Power is nigh on unbeatable when he goes to Ireland,
yes.
so no disgrace in that. Big weight, but certainly a place chance.
OK. We shall see. And Osara was in that race as well, one we were talking about earlier on in the card. This is a very competitive race. It's a good race. Who's going to win it?
Yeah, we're going to get a price here. 10 John Riggins is the one for me. I think he's got a turn of foot, hold up horse in a big field. 10 John Riggins, 17 Sheikh Maz Mahood, 2 Master Matt, good old stick in this sort of company, and 16 Run, who's lightly raced.
It is a bit of a mouthful. Martin.
My picks are 1, 7, 16 and 2. Big Gossie at the top. He's carrying a big weight, but he's got the class. Stepping down from Group 2 to a handicap. Harmony Rose, very fast filly. She was 4th in a listed race last time with Run, and the Master Matt. He's a standing dish in these races to finish 4th.
Yeah, he's been in both your lists, Master Matt, and I hope that this is one of the races that can drop right for him. He's won here before. Number 2, Master Matt will take a chance on in a wide open race. Race 4 is the contest that the whole meeting is centred around. It's the Dubai Duty Free Irish Derby, the significant race this World Pool Sunday at the Curragh. It's a classic race. 9 of them have been declared. I'll confirm them in a few moments' time, but these colts going for that little bit of history and racing on mortality by being a classic winner. This is the map they're going to have to take, the course map, as we've stepped away from the sprints, the round course. You don't want to go getting boxed in, even though it's not the biggest field. A few of them have had trouble in running in the past. Right, these are the runners. 5 of the 9 headlined by Ballydor, Aidan O'Brien, including the favourite, August Rodin. We will be coming to him. We'll be picking out a couple of the others, not least White Birch and Spreewell. Spreewell will be the first horse that we have a look back at. We'll talk about his run behind August Rodin in the Derby in due course, Graham, but this was him winning at Leopardstown the time before. I
think he's an absolute must for Quinella and Trio Slips. He's just a good quality horse. Whether he can beat August Rodin, we'll see. Probably not. But this is him in the Leopardstown Derby trial. I really like this performance. Charges through on the outside, gets the better of Up and Under, beats him well by 3 lengths. We'll touch on the Derby in a moment. I like this horse at 1.5 miles, Martin, but you're not quite as convinced about his stamina.
No, I'd have to disagree. I think he does get 1.5 miles, but I think he's much better at 10 furlongs. He's won here at Leopardstown over 10 furlongs. He's got quite a few more gears, and I think White Birch and Augustus Rodin will confirm the form from Epsom, but I do think this horse will be in the 4.
Interesting. I think at least we now know he's not completely determined by the ground underfoot. He seems quite versatile. We'll see what Spreewell can do. Martin touched on this horse. We'll go back to you, Martin. White Birch. And before we get to his Derby run as well, this was his second in the Dante. Yorkie comes in with strong form, good claims. I guess the starts of races can be a bit of an issue to him, but the way that he finishes is anything but.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a lovely big grey horse. We see him at the back of the field and he's under pressure here quite early on in the straight, but this is a horse who just finishes strongly in his races, and the 1.5 miles really suits him, and I'm sure the Curragh on Sunday will really play to his strengths, because he's a real fast finisher.
Yeah, he is. And that tendency to just miss a beat at the stalls shouldn't really be an issue at the Curragh. It was a partial issue at York. It was a partial issue at Epsom in factoring, getting fair way behind. But as you can see, he charges home here. And Martin's right, he tends to finish very strongly. Great story, the Murphy family from Cork looking for a big, big win on the flat. High quality horse, but both these horses, Spreewell, White Birch, Up and Under and the rest, they all have it on if August Rodin is the horse we saw at Epsom a few weeks ago. Well,
look, are they playing for places? Without further ado, let's get to the key form trial, which is the Derby. Staged on the 3rd of June. They're all coming here via that particular race, and this was the day, Graham, where Aidan O'Brien worked some form of magic by getting this horse, August Rodin, to get back to the winner's enclosure after a dismal run at Newmarket.
I'll throw this to Martin in a second, but loads of records at stake on Sunday. Aidan's going for his 15th Irish Derby. Can you believe it? He's going for his 100th European Classic.
Wow.
Ryan Moore is going for his first Irish Derby. Amazingly, never won it before. But this, the word I keep using for this, Martin, is silky. You know what it takes to win a Derby. There's an athleticism and a real quality needed. This horse never breaks stride. And although King of Steel puts up a great fight, August gets him in the end, and he's going away at the line.
It was a silky performance. You do not become a bad horse overnight, and he flopped in the Guineas. He's bounced back. What a training performance. I know the Hong Kong racing fans are big fans of Ryan Moore. I spoke to Ryan the day after the Derby. He said he never, ever thought he was going to get beaten. He said he's one of the best horses ridden. I don't think he gets beat on Sunday.
OK. White Birch finished very well there to mop this up, and Spreewell was cannoned from one side and the other. He was a little bit unlucky, but really, are they going to reverse the form?
They have 5 and a bit lengths and 7 lengths to make up, so I'm not going to oppose the favourite here. This is a race, Martin, Nick, that lends itself to quality horses winning by long distances, and I think we could see August do something similar here. So it's 2, 7, 9 and 8 in the Irish Derby. August, Spreewell, White Birch and Up and Under.
Martin.
2, 9, 7, 8 for me. Augustus Rodin, he's a champion, and I think he's going to prove it again.
OK, Aidan O'Brien going for 100 European Classics. I don't think I've ever backed 100 winners in my lifetime. Right, let's see if August Rodin can give me a winner. He won't be the biggest price on the day, but he could just be the class act who does the Epsom Curragh double. Race 5 is a good race. It's a Premier Handicap, another of the Premier Handicaps on the day. This time, it's run over the mile, over 1,600 metres. Once again, we'll confirm for you the route they're going to have to take. They'll start on the bend, swing round, and this huge field will really have to sort themselves out. Trouble in running could be a fixture in the race. We'll see. Headed up by good old Sultan Stalls, been around for years. Current options there, Rami's there, Chassamé we'll be talking about, Earls, down to Blues Emperor. How you like that? Over the page. Tosin Wish is there. Farnborough, we're going to be talking about in a few moments' time. There's Sir Jack Thomas, Gambe Veloci and Super Over. Right, let's have a look at Farnborough, who will this time have to carry a penalty some 9 days after breaking the maiden in pretty straightforward fashion. This will be different, though. Yeah,
I just wonder whether he might be a little bit overbet because of his connections here. This is a wildly competitive handicap, and this is just a maiden at Limerick. He led in the blinkers, and he was driven out to win by half a length. He picks up a penalty. He's turned out quickly. That's interesting. I'm probably a bit less keen on Farnborough than a few people, Martin. Are you keen?
I'd have to agree. I think he's got ability, but I question how genuine he is. I know it sounds harsh, but he won this day from the front. He never seen another horse. They had to reach for the blinkers to win with him, but he looks to me like he's pulling up in front here, and he goes straight into a deep handicap on Sunday where he's going to have to try a bit harder.
I agree. He has got a Group 3 entry in the Meld Stakes, and Shamie Heffernan, after winning, said that he felt there was strengthening up to do, but I just have that little bit of a reservation with him. Trainer Johnny Murtagh, Graham, could have a big old say in this. He's got a couple of very interesting runners, not least Blues Emperor.
Tough race, but a tough horse. You won't miss him in the race. He's a very vivid chestnut with a big white face and white socks. What I like about this performance, Martin, two things actually. Look at the kick he shows when he sees the front. He just kicks a couple of lengths clear. That suggests that he's right on top of his game. I think he idles a bit late. And second point to me, form's working out nicely. The second and the fourth have both won, and he seems a very straightforward horse who's just in great nick at the moment.
Certainly, he's beat a good field here this day, and what I like about him, he showed a good attitude to come through horses. He had a tight gap, and he's took it well, and he's going to need that experience in a full field handicap on Derby Day.
OK, I actually quite like the other of Johnny Murtaugh's Rami. We were talking about that in a few moments' time. Martin, Chazami is a horse that we haven't seen since the very beginning of the turf season, back on the 26th of March, winning at Naas. This was over 1,400 metres, much deeper ground. He comes off a break, but when you actually look at his profile, coming off break seems to be a tick rather than a negative. Yeah,
he certainly seems to be able to handle that. He enjoys a little break and then comes back with a bounce. And what I do like about this horse is I think he wins with a bit of his sleeve. He wins a little bit cheekily. I think he just kind of gets there and then sort of idles in front. So it will be a bit of a mission to try and not hit the front too soon in a big field, but I just think the jockey's just keen to not hit the front too soon because I think he idles.
Yeah, and he started from such a low base in the handicap. Handicappers took two massive swings at him. It didn't work last time. I think he's up another 13 pounds or so, but once these apparently low-grade horses start improving, look out.
Yeah, it looks like a totally different time of year completely. That was back in March, so we'll see him again in the summer. This is a tough race. It's a good race. Who's going to just, well, come out on top? I'd say win it, but it's a tricky one, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Blues Emperor because I just think he's right in form at the moment, and his form last time is working out nicely. 10 Blues Emperor on top, 18 No More Porter and 4 current option, proven forces at this level, and 6 Chazas Me, just in case he's still on the upgrade.
OK.
For me, it's going to be 10. I think Blues Emperor's got plenty more, and he showed good credentials to win that race. Chazami is definitely an improving horse. I think Rami will run a big race, and Farnborough to finish 4th. OK, you both going with the one Johnny Mercer option. I'm going to take on the other, as Martin said, Rami to win at the Curragh again. It's a tricky race. Good luck, whatever you're punting. Working our way through the card at the Curragh on Sunday and taking in race 6, which is a 1,400 metre race. It's another of the Premier handicaps, but this one will be run over 1,400 metres. Back to the straight. We've had it with the sprints earlier in the day. They'll stretch out that little bit further. Over 1,400 metres for a Fillies Premier handicap. You're one there. We'll be talking about at the top under the riding sensation Dylan Brown McMonagle. Talking of them, Moe Woe is next in under Ryan Moore. Adelaide, no Nicky No, independent expert, going down to the likes of Lon Chinta, and right at the bottom, Marsa. OK, let's talk about year one there. Who's got their big rider booked for the day. Unlucky this day.
Absolutely, and a little unlucky last time at Royal Ascot. Move on to that in a moment, but keep an eye buried towards the inside in a listed race. Don't forget, this was a pretty good quality race. Definitely a messy race, and the gaps never came at any point. So I'm pretty sure that Joseph O'Brien thinks that Yuan there is ahead of the handicap. That seemed the case at Royal Ascot. Both she and stablemate Adelaide, more on her in a minute, found tough trips at Royal Ascot. So I think both of Joseph's horses have strong chances here, and there's no question, Martin, that Yuan there is much better than she had a chance to show here.
Yes, she's been unlucky, and we see her this day getting no room at all. But on Sunday, it's going to be run on a straight track, so straight's 1,400 metres is going to be easier for her. There'll be lots more gaps for her to aim at, so I'm expecting a big run from her. OK, Yuan there went on to be 5th, as Graham was saying, at Royal Ascot. Adelaide, the stablemate, was a position better. It was an Irish winner as well, but not for Joseph O'Brien. We can have a look at Adelaide's preceding run. Went 3rd at the Curragh. This was behind Rami, who, I don't know, maybe by then, Graham, could have enhanced the form a little bit further by running well in race 5. Yeah, we know this was a strong handicap, and Adelaide's A did very well, and B was also slightly unlucky, because when we pick her up, you'll see her just struggling for a little bit of room, Martin. She came home strongly, so she's proven in the heat of big field handicaps at the Curragh, and like Yuan there, she also had to come via Cape Horn at Ascot. She had to come wide. Both horses came out of that race potentially still well handicapped. Yeah, both horses, both fillies coming into this race off the back of 2 unlucky runs. So hopefully the tide will turn for her. And you see, look, she's finished with the red hood on. She's finished really strongly and arguably would have won with a better run.
We ought to talk about Lonchinta. This is a graduation from winning a maiden at Limerick, Graham, back on the 14th of June to a couple of weeks later running in a Premier Handicap.
Yeah.
But this race quietly is working out quite nicely, isn't it?
Every chance there's a strong form. She's only had 5 runs, so she's low mileage. The Limerick Mile Maiden is strong form. It's been franked 2, 3, maybe 4 times. And I thought she won it with real authority, Martin. Never easy going from a Limerick Maiden into a big Curragh Handicap, but she looks the type of filly who's got more to give.
Definitely, she's a filly on the upgrade. She travelled strongly into this race, and I think she'll be even better on a better surface, better ground on Sunday. And interestingly, the trainers quote straight after this race, we're aiming her for a fillies handicap on Derby Day. She gets in off a mark of 83 with 8 stone 10. I think that's a point in the right direction.
Okay, there we go. A trainer who maps out a plan and goes with it. Declared for Sunday. Good stuff. A lot of these could still be on the up. We'll see who's going to make or who is in the 4.
Joseph and Jessie for me. Joseph O'Brien holds a very strong hand with number 1, Yuan there. Number 3, Adelaide, who's in great form. Jessie has Lonchinta, who's in the upgrade, and 6, Transcendental. 1, 3, 8 and 6.
So they're the 4 for Graham. Martin, what about you?
I'm going to go with Jessie Harrison's Lancinte. Really good winner last time, and the trainer earmarked this race. She said she'd win the race on Derby Day for the fillies. So, and number 3, Adelaide, with Yuan there to turn around that unlucky run last time in 3rd. And Nicky number 4 to finish 4th.
I like that form, the 8, Lonchinta. It's got a bridge to gap, but might just do it. Best of luck, whatever you're going for on Sunday in race 6. Race 7 this Super Sunday at the Curragh is a listed race. It's run over 1,600 metres, and we'll confirm for you again the course map that they're going to have to take. A variety of different distances on the day. This one over the 1,600 metres, starting on the round and ending up with the final few furlongs on the straight for this Celebration Stakes, which has attracted a field of 12. Headed up by Cosmic Vega, who we'll be talking about in a few moments. For Now's there, Pretraville. Didn't have much to do. We'll see how much that one does have to do come Sunday. Bold Discovery, Lord Massachusetts, and down to Salt Lake City and Tarawa, horses at the bottom who might just be big players. Is Salt Lake City one of them, Graham?
Yeah, I think he's a strong player. This may well stack up to be Aidan O'Brien versus Dermot Weld. More on Dermot's runner in a moment, but I think Salt Lake City is open to a bit more improvement. I thought he was a little bit unlucky here, Nick. First of all, he was up against an absolutely banging form horse, Moon de Vega. Moon de Vega got the saloon passage. Salt Lake City didn't quite. You'll see he comes into the straight going pretty well towards the inside, but he has to just gradually thread his way to the outer to get a run. He comes home strongly up against a banging form rival. He needs to find a bit more to beat a peak form Tanawa, but I think he's sitting on a peak run, and he's going to be my top pick here against Tanawa. We'll look at Tanawa in a minute, but Salt Lake City is, I think he's in great nick right now.
Yes, I think there's every reason to be quite optimistic going forward with him. We'll see whether he's in the lads 1, 2, 3, 4 in a few moments' time. Graham mentioned Tarawa, who is... She's not quite as good as her stablemate Tahira, who she was behind last time, but this is classic form, dropping down a level or 2, Martin.
Yeah, you can't knock this form on the day. This is the Irish 1,000 Guineas. She's following her stablemate, and she's run a good race to finish 4th. And I actually felt earlier on in the race that if she didn't have a stablemate on her inside, jockey would have pushed forward and held a better position, but he couldn't knock down his stablemate, so he had to go back 1 step to come through again, but finishes really well, and she's a class act in this listed race. She's
top rated. There's a lot going for her, isn't there, Graham?
There is. The bottom line is that she's a 107 rated filly, getting £5 from the Colts, dropping in class. So she's the most obvious winner, but we're looking for a bit of value here. I suspect Tarawa will be favourite. I also suspect that Salt Lake City can give her a race.
OK. One who's a little bit older, a little bit more exposed is Cosmic Vega, but exposed can mean at a good level, and I think he is.
And he's running really well. He's had plenty of miles on the clock, but this seemed to be a personal best. Uncomplicated horse here at Naas, Martin. Kicks on, finds plenty. The problem is that there's a small penalty for winning this race, and therefore Cosmic Vega is going to have to give plenty of weight to the smart 3-year-olds on deck here.
Yeah, for that reason, I can see him running a big race and running in the first 4.
Agreed.
I can't see him beating the younger, improving horses, giving him a penalty. This was a listed win this day, off the back of a 3rd in a Group 3. So he holds his form well, and he's solid at this level. So I really can see him running a big race, but I don't think he'll finish in the first 2.
OK. Good race. Who's going to win it?
I hope it's going to be Salt Lake City. I think he's got a bit more to give. Slightly unlucky last time. 11 Salt Lake City, 12 Curragh, 6 didn't have much to do. Consistent, useful filly, and 1 Cosmic Vega. But the 3-year-olds should hold sway here.
Well, I'm going to go the same as Graham, but the other way round. I think Curragh will finish on top. Number 12, she's got classic form. You can't beat that. Salt Lake City, big improving horse. I think he'll run a good race in 2nd. Number 11 and number 6. Didn't have much to do, and number 1, Cosmic Vega, will finish 4th.
I'm going to give a go to the McManus filly. Didn't have much to do, just 2nd run back off a break. She might have unfinished business at 1,600 metres. Good group entries going forward. She was a little unlucky last time, and I think she's talented enough to play a bit of a part in this. Whatever you're going for, the very best of luck in race 7. Final race of the day, race 8 at the Curragh Super Sunday. It's a Whirlpool day. It's the Ragusa handicap, which is a premier handicap and a big punting race to finish the day with. Right, this is the final course of the day. It is the joint longest race on the card, along with the Irish Derby, which will be run as race 4. And a couple of hours later, this is what we're looking forward to. This will be the test, a big field. And luck in running could play a part. Dam Rapide is at the top. Safe Crackers there. Darlath, Maze Runner, My Mate Mozzie, some of the familiar favourites who turn out some of these big handicaps each and every time they run. There's Zoffman over the page. Is the likes of Timurid, Brazil, who's done well over both codes, or under both codes, Mr Escobar, Boa Road and Wild Dollar. OK, let's start off with having a look at a Godolphin runner in Ireland. That's Safe Cracker, finishing 2nd a couple of starts ago, Graham.
Yeah, this is a horse who's banging form. True, he disappointed in this race last year, but he's bred to shine on this day. He's by Golden Horn and a half-brother to Jack Hobbs, who won the Irish Derby in great style a few years ago. This was the Court Derby, not quite so exalted, but he runs really well. Also keep an eye on Golden Twilight, who travels really well through the race, doesn't find quite as much, but he has a new headgear angle. But Safe Cracker's in good nick. Maybe Johnny Murtagh and Ben Cohen have the right combination here, Martin.
Yeah, I think this is a class horse, Safe Cracker. He's bred to be good. I think he's got potential. It wouldn't be surprised to see him running a group level, and I think stepping back up to the 1.5 miles really suits this horse.
OK. What about stepping back up in trip for Timurid, who we can have a look at in winning action last time, Martin?
Yeah, nice quote from the winning trainer, Paul Flynn, here, that he's a monkey, but a good monkey. And have a look at this performance. 9 1/4 at the Curragh. Smooth Tom, also highlighted, runs really well. And Timurid puts up a very, very handy performance. Travelling nicely, staying on strongly, up in trip, up in distance here. But a horse, even if he is a monkey, he's a pretty useful monkey, Martin.
He is. He's got talent, but he needs the stars to align to win. I think he's good on his day. He's up £4 for his last win, but I just worry to step up to the 2,400 metres, whether that'll suit him. I think it just plays on his stamina. So I can see him running a good race in the 4, but I can't see him winning.
OK. Hopefully, we'll have found a few winners by this point, because it's not the easiest race on which to hang your final punts on the card. We'll see.
We will have found a few winners. We will have found a few winners by this point.
August Rodham?
Yes, I'm taking a wild swing here. And if you talk about Derby pedigrees, talked about Safe Cracker being related to Jack Hobbs, I'm going to take a swing with a horse called Brazil here. He's a brother to Capri, who won the Irish Derby. He's done most of his racing of late over jumps. On his one run on the flat, he didn't find any room. He's got new headgear, he's up in trip, and he's potentially well treated on the level. 15 Brazil, 8 Golden Twilight, 2 Safe Cracker, and 12 lay laps in a brain-burning finale, Nick.
OK, what about you?
Tough one to finish on. 18 runners, 1.5 miles. I'm going to go with Safe Cracker for Johnny Murtagh. He's got a wide draw, but I think he's got quite a lot of class, with Smooth Tom to finish 2nd, number 3. He's an improving horse at this distance, with number 10, Shall He Shoot, and 13, Timurid.
OK, good stuff. Right, your silver is my gold. I'm going to go for Smooth Tom, number 3, to win the final race. I think the horse is still improving, certainly since the headgear's gone on, and might just have unfinished business at the trip. Whatever you're going for, up and down the card, Super Sunday at the Curragh. The very best of luck.